The group study exchange program, I think, is something that anybody can benefit from. I think both as a young professional or even as a Rotarian. What's unique about the program is I don't think there's anything really out there that's like it, where you get to live with so many different families, so many different distinct places in such a short period of time. And there's challenges to it, but at the same time, I think it tests your skills, your abilities. I think people find their boundaries and walls. They learn a lot more about themselves, and you make friends along the journey, both on the team and off the team. Really, the goal of the whole program is to build friendships that are going to last a lifetime and to get beyond those cultural barriers. Everybody on this trip was able to connect in some meaningful way with people here in the Philippines.
It's going to foster a partnership, certainly between the Philippines and our district back in Florida. And that's what it's all about. There's tremendous resources and funding available to all Rotary clubs through the foundation, but the key to harnessing those funds is worldwide cooperation with other countries. And in doing that, we can make some really fantastic projects happen that would not otherwise be available from a funding point of view.
My favorite part of the trip had to be doing the out-of-the-world type of things, the things you don't think about doing every day. For example, I watched a show on Filipino festivals before arriving and watched them celebrate the carabao, which was the original utility for farmers. And I said to myself, I have got to ride one of those when I get to the Philippines. And the opportunity actually presented itself at a farm. We were at a mango farm, and they also had some carabao, and jumped on and went for a ride just like it was a horse.
Filipino people are like American people in a lot of ways, but they're also very different. Being here for a month, I've really been able to observe families up close and the way that people treat their families and the way that they balance their work life with their families. And back in the U.S., I think a lot of people are workaholics, and it's not that they put their families and friends second, but people will, given the option of working late and getting more done, more often than not, they'll do that rather than going home and spending time with their family.
Filipinos have a reputation as being the most hospitable people in the world, and I really believe that after having been with them. Two things: the visit with Dr. Yarrow, who was a Bataan Death March survivor when he was 15 years old, along with his two brothers, and who spent the balance of the war fighting against the Japanese with the guerrillas. And then also our chance meeting with Fidel Ramos, past president of the Philippines.
When I realized, when my eyes were open to the fact that World War II actually impacted other parts of the world other than America, I think that was kind of interesting, and that really hit home with some of the historical sites that we saw.
I think one of the most meaningful experiences was with our host family in Bataan. Me and Melanie were staying with Toby and Carol. Our host family had planned some activities for us. They actually, in addition to their regular careers, they have a farm and a fish farm. So they planned for us to go out there in the morning, and we got to spend some time checking it out, and we got to meet the people that actually live there and run the farms for them. But then also they caught some crabs, which we then took home, and they steamed up right there right away. And then we had a big feast outside, and just really spending time together and kind of seeing daily life, but also knowing that the host family had done something really special and had invited us into their lives and included us.
It's just been phenomenal. I mean, in a month's time in your normal life, there's no way that you form those kind of friendships. I've had some phenomenal hosts like Chiandani Galera, Chris and Maya Peralta. I mean, I could go on. And not all of it has just been the host. Some of it's been wonderful Rotarians that I've met, like Jess Nick Dow or Linda Winter or any number of others.
The greatest lesson is to be humble and appreciative of everything that's around you. I've watched family after family celebrate their togetherness, to sit down at a dinner table and celebrate being together and celebrate the food that they have, and really truly appreciate each other for who they are. They're very humble people, they're very appreciative people, and it kind of has had a huge impact on how I feel, in returning to the States.
When we first started to come over here, a lot of us never really thought of coming back to the Philippines. And by the middle of the month, and certainly by the end of the month, every single team member on the team said yes, they would love to have an opportunity to come back, or they will come back, or they're going to look to open up a business, or somehow get back to see the families and to see other things that we weren't able to see.
I think that we can learn a lot from the Filipino people and the way that we look at our lives and look at our families and look at our priorities, because in 1 week being here between La Union and Pangasinan, I saw 5 sunsets in a row. I don't think I've seen but maybe 2 sunsets in my entire life before this trip. Kind of a disturbing thought, but it was also a clarifying thought for me about the way that I need to live my life and what I can take home from the Filipino people in terms of prioritizing my life.
We made such close friends with some host family members. All of us had really touching experiences with them. So we had all these beautiful experiences, but we didn't have anyone to share them with. So I think a lot of our friendship with the team kind of developed from that. And I think because of the fact that we all went through this very unique experience that we can never replicate, the amount of friendship and the depth of the friendship and the respect that we have for each other has increased exponentially.
When you go on regular vacation, you just kind of see the surface of things. Like, you get to see, you know, the famous sites, and, you know, you can try the food and whatever, but you don't actually get to really know anybody local, which makes a big difference. With our host families and with the different Rotarians that we met, we got to actually get to know the individuals, and that gave us a better understanding for the culture, and it was really just a much deeper experience.
I do feel like I've been changed, and I think that it would be almost impossible for me to describe in words what that change has been. It's more of a feeling.